Watching Don Jr., Eric Trump now arrive, Barron Trump in the back. He stands about a foot taller than his brothers. They're tall themselves, but he's taller. There you see Tiffany Trump as well. Barron Trump attending NYU in New York. Melania Trump has been asked, does she feel like an empty nester? And she said, not really. I raised him to be his own person. And she has said, I will go to the White House. I'll live there. I'll serve as First Lady. But I'll go to Mar-a-Lago when I'm needed, and I will go to New York when needed as well. And she will be and continue to be very connected to her son, Barron. They have been close really through his childhood. We've watched him grow up. He was away from the public eye for some time and then reemerged as someone who's quite literally taller than the rest of us and who has helped his father with this victory. Barron Trump quietly advised his dad on areas where he could reach young men voters, podcasts that Barron was interested in, and Donald Trump listened. Somebody else, though, in that grouping of children arriving is also deeply influential now. And Rachel Scott, that's Don Jr. It was Don Jr. Who suggested RFK Jr. I know there were others who suggested him as well. And it was Don Jr. who said J.D. Vance should be the pick. And his father not only listened to him and benefited from that advice, he now truly trusts Don Jr. as a political force.
Yeah, Donald Trump Jr. has had a massive influence on President-elect Donald Trump's campaign. You mentioned it there, David. He was the one that suggested Senator J.D. Vance at the time to be Donald Trump's running mate. The president-elect listening to his own son. And President-elect Donald Trump even admitted later in some interviews that he didn't quite know exactly how it was going to work out there, as some of Vance's own controversial statements came to light, which he was pressed on repeatedly. But then he said it ultimately did work out. Of course, he said that after the election, and even down to his cabinet picks, right, as well. You mentioned Robert F. Kennedy Jr. This is a president-elect that looks to those who are close around him for advice and counsel. But you saw it there. He really did follow the advice of Donald Trump Jr. and also Barron. We saw Barron walk in as well, and it was Barron that encouraged his own father to really go outside and use different types of media to try to reach younger voters, younger male voters. And this is why we have seen the president-elect even talk about TikTok, saying it has a special place in his heart because he does believe ultimately it did help him in this election and get things across the finish line. The president-elect listening to both of his sons on that front.
I want to listen into them. We're going to keep our eyes trained. Thank you, Rachel Scott.